But pretty much that's my background, right? Like I was like grown up in Ireland, Dublin. Like I didn't have much like avenue. Like my parents wouldn't let me like go to the gym, right? And that's why I really wanted to do the hell. Like before I was even like properly like of age to go to the gym, I wanted to do like combat sports. I wanted to do boxing. I eventually got let into kickboxing, but that's like later down the line. But it didn't happen till a lot later, right? So I still had access to a lot of like fitness and a lot of like exercise clubs that my mom would send me to. Like she signed me up for a lot of stuff. I used to do soccer. I used to do dancing. I used to do pretty much a lot of stuff in my school as well as in leisure center clubs. I used to do swimming also, so I was pretty active as a kid when growing up. And I'm gonna ask all of you to just like remember that because it's gonna come up later when I come to the part where I'm giving you all advice that learning to be someone who enjoys physical activity, learning to be someone who just like that's what you do, making it a part of your personality and a part of your daily routine. That's something you should be aiming to do. But eventually I got better, right? Like the more as like I was going, the more sports I was doing, and like my goals weren't anything like physically related. I was just like content with what I had. I wasn't all that physically active, but my circumstances just like made me. That's what I do. Like my mom would especially tell me to take part in a lot of physical exercise. She'd be telling me to take part in a lot of clubs and stuff, and that provided a great basis for me to get started. And from there, I eventually found running, and I took that up as like that's my primary source of exercise. That's what I done. And I'll tell you right now that I started off with distance running, which it's it's not like ideal for what most people would think for like putting on like muscle, for getting big, for getting attractive and stuff. But it provides a great basis for all sports because you learn the fundamentals of endurance and the fundamentals of just stamina and looking after yourself and stuff. So it was a great start for me, and I used that to essentially propel myself up in my physical and fitness journey. It was just a great starting point, a great launch pad, and I used it to great effect, and I enjoyed it first and foremost. Like I liked running, like I liked it was a good like difference compared to just playing video games all day, staying at home, living life for the sake of waking up the next day. And it was just like my sport. I just liked it a lot, and eventually, like I started winning like honors and medals and stuff, and I won like, what is an equivalent to a state championship for my age group. I won a gold medal in cross country for that. So yeah, it was a good starting point. But as soon as I progressed, like I eventually joined kickboxing. My mom eventually allowed me to do that, and that's when I was like pretty invested in like looking good. Like I've seen a lot of stuff online, and I was like saying that I want to look aesthetically like appealing and stuff. I want to carve out my body. I want a six pack. But so like I said before, I didn't have access to the gym, but I found that there's a lot of good alternatives to those exercises that you would normally be doing in the gym. And I used a lot of like different online working out or workout apps to supplement me with these specific exercises. So I'll just give you like the three core ones, or there's more, but like these are just like what will set you out to strengthen these individual parts of your body. So we're just gonna assume that you're pretty like average, you're like skinny fat, and you can't do more than like 10 push-ups in a row, for example, and you're just trying to carve out that good base to propel yourself, get yourself ready to start lifting weights in the gym, or to just get a step up in the fitness or activity like side of things. So what I started out with like was with sit-ups, and everyone knows that sit-ups aren't a very good core exercise. They're pretty much like a beginner's only exercise. You can do what's that? I can't even remember the other one. It's sit-ups and there's crunches. Yeah, crunches are what are a lot more difficult, and they'll target a better area of your core. But I stuck with sit ups just to get that basic core strength, and I used that to I implemented that into other aspects of the physical activity that took part in. So I'd use that in running. So if people aren't familiar with it, but like your core is pretty pivotal to your running capabilities. So you just want to strengthen those parts of the body out. And if you're incapable of doing push-ups, this is the next exercise. You can start off with like knee push-ups or the the tilted, like you're doing push-ups off of, let's say, like a ledge or a railing or something, like while leaning backwards. Like we're just gonna aim to improve your capabilities till you can work up to doing at least one push-up, because you want to have all of these like parts of your body relatively like ironed out, so you're capable of doing tougher exercises. So after push-ups you go to squats, right? And this is similar to the One Punch Man like workout everyone's familiar with, but like this isn't gonna only be it. These are just like the three fundamental core like exercises that you just practice. Yeah, pike push ups. Yeah, they're just basic, right? They're gonna help you get the basic strength you'll need to do more intermediate and experienced stuff. So you're gonna have to stick with those for the meantime, and that's what I done when I was younger. I stuck with those exercises because I really didn't have much better like access to better exercises, or I didn't really know that you could um add weighted or improvise weights. I wasn't too smart about that, but I just like aim to up my sets and my reps of like my exercises that I could do. Like before, I could barely do one push up, but then I worked up to like five. I worked up to 10. Just repeatedly doing it over and over and over again till your capability to do those exercises improves, and then you essentially just compound on top of that. You progressively overload, aiming to do break the next milestone, right? And once you get those basic fundamentals down, like you're ready to transition into harder exercises. So you mentioned protein powder there, right? Yeah, I didn't even when I was like growing up, I didn't even know protein powder was a thing till like 3 years ago or something. But yeah, it is a good source of protein, but for the majority of like let's say quote unquote normal people, they're not gonna need that because they're gonna get the majority of their protein just from eating normal foods. Like if you're eating a healthy and balanced diet, but if you're explicitly or like specifically looking to put on a lot of muscle, like you're trying to just get as big and swole as possible, yeah, protein powder is a good supplement to take advantage of, and I highly recommend like everyone, if you have the capabilities to use it, and I assume most of you all are trying to get into the gym or are in the gym and are doing a lot of weighted exercises, then yeah, go ahead and take protein powder because it'll accelerate your gains and what you receive. It's definitely a tool that you should, if you can take advantage of it, you definitely should take advantage of it. So how many reps, right? So I'll assume that you're just like the example that I gave. You're like beginner level, and you can barely like do you can barely do 10 of each, right? So obviously let's start off with like squats. That's probably the easiest one. Everyone can do like 10 squats. I assume it's not too hard. And if you can, you can do five. And if you can't do five, you can do two. So you start off at the lowest rep count possible. You push yourself to what's the phrase, to failure, I guess. And then you just do that initially. We're not gonna try to push yourself to failure every single time or every single day, but just do that to find out how much you can go, and then you know that's your cap. But everyone knows that doing failure, like push-ups to failure or like any exercise to failure, like every single day is too taxing on the body. So you don't want to do that all the time. But it's a good way to get a feel of what you're physically capable of and what your limits are at. For example, I can probably do around 50 or so push-ups straight currently, but like I'm not going to do that every single day because it's just going to be essentially torture on my body. But every, like, let's say once in a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, you can do that to test what you cap out as physically or in that specific exercise. So it's a good taster test or like test to figure that out. And once you do that, you're good to go essentially. So you want to just do, let's just say, half your rep max for an example. And if you can't do half your rep max, you do like a quarter of your rep max. Then split that out between 2 to 4 sets, depending on how you feel. And just know that you're compounding onto better things. You're trying to build upon your initial strength. So, if you reach our recommended amount of protein, it will benefit you, but ultimately depends on what your goal is. Like I assume everyone wants to just get muscle on like as fast as possible and as much muscle on as fast as possible. So I wouldn't say it is a waste. Like I'm not aware of the specifics of protein powder. If there's someone else here, because I don't take it personally because I don't need to. Since I do competitive like sprinting and stuff, and I get all of the protein that I need just from regularly eating. But if you're like lifting weights and stuff, you're trying to get on as much as possible, and it'll be a good tool to take advantage of. To test your limit. Yeah, I mean in reps, because it's just we're doing non-weighted exercises. Like we're assuming you have like bare bones, nothing, and you're just starting out. So I mean in reps, like weighted. I guess you can, or you can get like a bag and then put in some books and stuff, and then like set it till it's like tight, and then you can try like some weighted push ups, variations in that sense. But like I presume not a lot of beginners can do that. Mm. So that's just a good starting point for like all beginners in terms of where they can start out as excuse me, in terms of exercises, cause you're gonna want to not to push yourself too far. Cause I remember like when I was first starting out, the amount of times I just like my wrist will just give in anytime I was doing push-ups as a beginner. It's pretty sore, and like you see people like doing like 200 and like some people doing 500 a day, and it's like if you do that every single day, it's gonna be rough on you. If you do it like once in a while, it's not gonna be so bad. So that's why I don't recommend people like exert themselves too much, because it's it's not too like you have to give your body time to recover. You don't wanna overdo things, and you're not gonna see uh, as much gains as you would if you were well rested repeating these exercises, because your form's going to be way off. You strengthen wrists. So there are exercises. I forgot the name, but this goes on to my next point of the app that you can use, and you're going to probably find the exercise to strengthen wrists here. I think they're called like wrist curls or something. No, that's like where I'm pretty sure where or like wrist twists. I think like you just like twist your wrists around, right, with bow hands. But the what I'm gonna recommend next is the home workout app, and it's literally called home workout. So you can just go onto the Play Store, the Apple Store, type in home workout, search it up, and this is gonna be the basis of what you're gonna do. So you can pick between beginner, intermediate, and I'm pretty sure experienced, right? But I'd even say that the beginner is too hard for like most people. I remember I recommended most of the beginner like exercises to one person here, and they even told me it was way too hard. And I'm pretty sure I used this app like when I was closer around to the beginner, or an app similar to that, and it was very hard just repeating it or just starting off, because it's like different sets of different exercises, so there's a lot of variation in there. But it's a good starting point and a good improvise for if you don't have access to a gym. So this is the app that you're going to use, and it has the workouts laid out there. If you want to target back, or you want to target arms, or you want to target chest, or you want to target core, they're all there, and you can choose between the difficulty, like I said. Yeah, It's for home workouts without equipment, but some they have additional like courses of or exercise that you can use that utilize some basic equipment. Like everyone has like a bag or school bag, and then you just put stuff in, and then you improvise with that. And if you feel like like the basic exercises like squats are too easy, you can just improvise with a bag also to add additional difficulty. I don't recommend going until going until failure should be used if you're trying to get a new PB or personal best, and to find what your physical like limits are in that said exercise. So no, not repeatedly, no, because the strain's just going to be too much, John. So I don't recommend doing until failure too much. I don't know if that applies in weightlifting as well, but just like in general, like basic body weight exercises. It's very difficult, and it's very like you'll see it like you wake up after doing like a crap ton of push-ups, your back will be in knots, your arms will be like sore, your wrists will be like crooked and painful and stuff. So it's not. I don't recommend going to failure all too often. But yeah, I'll also like shed some light on what I done personally and what you all can also do. Like say you're just in high school and you're trying to meet some sort of physique goal. You're either cutting or bulking, but there's a lot that you can do to make the journey a lot more easier. So I transitioned from distance running to sprinting, and in sprinting I was like introduced to a lot of like different concepts, and I realized that your sprinting favors a more physically bulky build, and it also puts a lot of extra emphasis on just being more muscular. So I realized that I was gonna have to put on a lot more muscle, and this is where like genetics and puberty came in clutch, because it just like happened kind of automatically. Like for me, I just the muscle just like came. Like I was eating relatively healthy, well I'll say actually like extremely healthy, and I know like what average like or just like normal kids didn't have the type of like healthy meals that I had access to when growing up. But since my mom, she studied culinary arts, and she worked as a chef for a few years. She knows basically all of the good stuff about like nutrients and all, eating healthy, having a balanced diet and stuff. So I was essentially blessed in a sense. It was very beneficial towards me, and obviously not everyone has that, but if you do, like, be very grateful for it, because it'll just make your life a lot easier, that you just have healthy meals prepped up and they're at the ready, and you can take advantage of that to the best of your ability, because you're not going to have to worry about balancing your meals, or you're not going to worry about what you're going to have for lunch or dinner, because there's just like all you have access to is junk food. But that wasn't me. Like I barely had access to any of that. My parents wouldn't like let me have. I remember like I went like nearly like 6 whole months without eating a takeaway, and like even longer before, when I was a lot more younger, because that's essentially what I was raised on. I was raised on healthy meals. I was raised on a lot of meals that were mostly like Italian based and Mediterranean based. Like I remember I'd have this. I don't even know the name of it, but it was like this type of fish and like mashed potatoes on the side, and a lot of different vegetables. So it was pretty healthy all around, and it wasn't processed food, and it wasn't like just trash. It wasn't like McDonald's or anything. So diet is something you're gonna have to put a lot of thought into, and you're gonna have to watch it specifically, because it will show in your gains, and it will affect your gains immensely if you're not intaking good or healthy meals. If you're having a lot of foods that are full in fat, like the bad fat. Like I suck at biology. I suck at all of that, all the technicalities. I'll admit that I'm not the best, so I can't really like elaborate on it, but like you get the gist of what you want to eat and what you don't want to eat. Yeah, just thanks to that, I didn't put on like major fat like a lot of people do, in their preteens going into puberty and stuff. So I was able to stay relatively lean. But the mass I was putting on was primarily a lot of muscle, and that showed as I got to like 14, 15, as I started doing a lot more sprinting, and I transitioned from distance running to sprinting. So it just done wonders for me, and like my physique was at that point it was like better than average, considering that I was essentially like average or just below, like before I hit that like that boom during puberty. So yeah, it was pretty good, and like all of those body weight exercises that I was talking about, they like showed like my arms were pretty like muscular, my legs were pretty well developed, and I had a relatively like decent six pack at that point. And the more I stuck to those exercises, the more it improved, and those are just like the core exercises that pretty much everyone should know and everyone should stick to build a basic like platform for just everyday life. Like it's not even a matter of like physique or anything. You're just gonna be healthy and you're going to be fit, and it shows because I don't get a lot of those problems like back pain and all of that. I don't get the usual like soreness and stuff. Like I'm able to do a lot of physically exerting tasks without getting too worn down. So I'm truly grateful for that like good basis I gave myself when I was growing up, and it's something that like if you're just starting out in exercises, or even if you're like past that point or past your teenage years, you can just easily implement a few like push-ups while you're sitting, you're studying in your room. Like there's easily ample space for you to do these exercises, and it's just gonna benefit you in the long run, and it's not gonna be too much of a detriment. Like all the times that you're studying and you're on break, and then you go to your phone. Like next time, you should just try to do some push-ups, in your room, or in a free space where you're getting some work done. Cause it's easy to do. It doesn't require much space, and you know that you're building towards something great. The more you stick to it. Boom. Yeah, like I made the most of things. I all I had was nothing more than just like a able body, and I had a few tools available to me, but like I made the most of it, and it's just that stuff just went well for me, and it's definitely achievable for a lot of other people, and most people have like more than what I had. Like most people are able to go to the gym like willingly, or their parents will let them, or like again close to that point. Most people can like afford like a pull-up bar, gym rings. A lot of these like u- utensils are very useful in order to just like get you give you the rundown of the fundamentals that comes to being fit. Depending on your goal, you may need to eat a lot more and get in a calorie surplus if you're looking to bulk, or if you're looking to cut. Like it's pretty easy also, and that's like where cardio is gonna come in. It's gonna give you an extra boost when it comes to cutting. You're gonna have to implement a lot of it, and I wouldn't recommend running for beginners, like I said near the beginning. But like there's definitely a lot of alternatives. Skipping, I was pretty fond of, and it's something I used to do a lot of when I was a kid, and it's still something you can do, especially if you're like in the gym. It's a pretty good like source of cardio, and it's pretty popular too. So that's always an option that you can resort to. But this is like the main last point I'm gonna give. But this is the best way to do things. You want to make just fitness. You want to implement that into your lifestyle. You want to become someone who's fit, someone who likes exercise, someone who's fond of those sort of activities, because it will make everything easier in the long run. And it certainly did for me. Like time just flew. Like it wasn't like I was like just thinking about it every day. I'm like, oh, I wish I was ripped. I wish I was jacked, but I'm not currently. And then each day is just like painstakingly agonizing. That wasn't the case for me, because I just made I enjoyed getting active. I enjoyed playing football with my friends. I enjoyed running around, and I enjoyed competing also. And it was just something that came natural to me. It wasn't as if I was hating it. And this can go to like if you're going to the gym primarily just to get your aesthetic body or your dream physique would be a better term. If you're doing exercise just for that, it'll make your it will make your journey a lot easier if you just like enjoy the journey, you enjoy the process, and it's just the best way to go about it. Because as well as training your physical body and taking care of your physical health, you're also looking after your mental health in the process, and that's the end goal. You're going to feel a lot more better once you get to your dream physique, but it won't be any good if you're being agonized through by the journey and you're not enjoying it. You dread going to work out every day. You just dread it and you do not enjoy it. And do you know what happens when you start to resent exercise and you will start to resent the your workout routines? You start to miss out on them. You start to backslide and your progress starts to take a dip, and that shows your performance starts to drop off because you're not enjoying the activity that you're taking part in. So it's just a little bit of advice that I can give, that you want to rewrite your whole outlook on exercise, your whole outlook on getting active and training. You want to enjoy it and do it while having a smile on your face, because it's something that is truly enjoyable, but you'll be doing yourself a very good favor if you also like actually enjoy doing it. Because I initially didn't like it. I just hated like getting up early, having to go to training, having to go through all of that. I'd rather just do the easy thing, take the easy way out by just sitting at home and playing video games. But I started to enjoy it, and that same competitive drive I had from playing video games started to show in sports as well. And it's just a good way of seeing correlation between some of your bad habits, which may have some obvious or not sometimes not so obvious good points to them. Like a lot of people who play video games tend to be naturally competitive, so you can transition that to exercise, to playing in sports, and it too will give you the same joy, because it certainly did for me. Playing in team sports, I don't really enjoy them too much now, but the competitive aspect of wanting to win, wanting to be better, and wanting to improve will give you motivation to get out of bed every single day. Give you the motivation to crank out the workout even if you don't feel like it. It's just ideal, and it'll make things and make the journey a lot less unbearable. So that's pretty much what I wanted to conclude with. Like if there's any more questions or people want to come up and stuff, they feel free to, and we'll hear your advice and stuff on your questions. I'll try like answer them also. Oh man. So yeah, if anyone, yeah, what's up? Yo,
What's up, boys?
yo, how you doing, bro?
I'm all right. I've just been lifting during this entire lecture. I was also lifting talking.
Yeah. So do you have
Yeah,
like
no, I just
any questions or
sorry.
like any experience? Like we're just like general exercise, kind of go physique and stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. I just kind of want to come up and give a quick piece of advice on how to implement cardio into your workout.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people. Sorry, I just I'm lifting right now, so.
Mm.
But I see a lot of people putting it at the end of their workouts, and
Yeah.
the problem with that is at the end of the workout you're dead tired, so you don't want to do it. So half the time people just skip it.
Yeah.
It's the same. Like, people just skip it. So the trick is, least the trick that I found, and I've been doing this for a long time, is in between sets.
Yeah.
So, for example, doing bench, I've been doing pause bench, so like 5 sets of pause bench. And in between pause bench sets, I've been getting on the stair climber machine that I have, and I've just been going at on that for like 2 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
pretty steady state, low impact, and I would recommend that for most people because so basically what I'm saying is do your cardio in between your sets on your workout. Like don't see your workout as multiple different sets. Start seeing it as one big set.
Mm.
And the benefit of doing it this way is that you're actually going to do it. That's the big thing. The other big thing is that it'll improve your work capacity because you're going to be able to exert yourself for longer because you're doing it in different sets. You're
Yeah.
asking more demands on yourself, right? And
Definitely.
I'm not saying like you have to do it like super hard, super heavy. Like I get on the stair climber for like 2 minutes and I just go back and wait like 30 minutes. Like no, sorry, like 30 seconds, and then
Yeah.
just go on another. So I recommend doing it that way. That's what's really worked for me, and it'll improve your work capacity. It'll get that cardio with basically it's not even hard to do.
Mm. For sure.
You got
Yeah.
any thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best way to go about with like just implementing cardio like in between. I never even thought of that. Usually, like I just
Yeah,
try to do either before or after. But yeah, it could be good to do it like in between.
I mean it's good to do it before you start working out as like a warm up.
Yeah.
Like for some example, I like doing I really like doing the assault bike machine, the bike machine, and
Yeah.
the reason why, especially if I'm doing like an upper day, I can also get my legs and my arms in there. So I get my arms in there a little bit, which will capacity up there, and it's also low impact. So it's
Yeah.
not a lot to ask for, and it's because like you said, the problem with running is that it's high impact. It's hard on your knees and it's hard on your tendons there, especially if you're overweight and you're not used to it.
Yeah.
You have a high likelihood of fucking. But the machines are really good because there's just no impact. Like, and you get thousands of reps of knee flexions and knee extensions, which is also really good for squatting.
Yeah.
Performances I'm just getting thousands of reps in, and also my knee pain, which I started to get a little, my knee and hip pain, which I started to get consistent squatting, has completely gone away.
Mm.
So I highly recommend.
Yeah, and that's pretty good advice also. Thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, no problem. Man. All right, I'm not sure how to kick myself off, so.
Yeah, I'll do it. Do it. It's fine.
All right, okay.
Thanks. Bruh, SWAT. Any tips, bro?
Yo.
Yo.
Uh. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was not muted. I was making fucking dinner.
Uh.
Yeah. So I was just like, ugh. I gave up on ordering food all the time, and I'm like, fuck it. What do I have in my fridge? And then yeah, that's also a student thing. Like, when you're broken, it's like, what do I have in my fridge? Keeping some what do you call it? Keeping particular food around is super helpful, especially what you were talking about earlier with
Yeah.
dieting. Like junk food, if there's junk food around you, you're gonna eat that shit. For me, it's ordering out because my phone's always near me
Yeah.
and I worked, and it's just like, okay, I got 20 minutes to eat. That's my whole lunchtime. If I order McDonald's, it'll take literally like 5 minutes. I'll be here in 10. I'll be done before the next meeting. But
Yeah.
the solution for that is meal prepping, which I just did. I made a big pot of tuna spaghetti. Oh, spaghetti with tuna, spinach, and mushrooms. And then I put a little bit of hot sauce to make it a little bit spicy. And I'm topping it off with some cheese. Like a tiny amount of cheese.
Yeah. Definitely. Just making the stuff available, or like the ingredients, or like everything just nearby is the best way. Cause even like, it's so easy to just go and like hop onto. Like, I need to delete the apps because it's getting that bad. I just see the Domino's app, or you see like Uber Eats or something, and it's just like, okay, I'm
Mm.
hungry, and it literally you don't even have to like put in your details. You just have PayPal, you just press OK, and then yeah, it's on its way. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
takes 4 minutes. You can
yeah,
say that's a sort of instant gratification if you want, because what you do, you don't go through the love of putting food together. So I want to do a cooking show or something.
mm,
That would be fun. Because I fucking love food. Loved it since I was 12 or whatever. So when I do
yeah,
make food, it does take me like a good 40 minutes to an hour because preparing that shit.
mm, and well, I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, it's just like
Okay,
the
eat protein. Eat.
yeah, yeah, the environment is just a booster also. Like when you're going like shopping, or if you're like your parents are going shopping or something, just like um well, in my case, I just like make sure not to get any of the unhealthy shit. Like before, I just be like, okay, I have this big amount of money to spend. No one's gonna stop me. I can grab whatever I want. So I just go to
Mm.
the like sweet aisle, or like the confectionery aisle, grab myself a big bag of crisps, and then go down to the like chocolate aisle, get myself some chocolates, get everything. But it's I just stopped doing more of that, and like you just have like a big source of healthy meals and healthy food available, because it's just easy. Like once it's set out there,
Especially,
it's easy. Yeah.
mm, especially food like what do you call it? Some foods that can be preserved for ages. So like I bought like what? I bought a stupid amount of Indomie,
Oh
like instant
yes.
noodles. Yes,
Yeah.
instant noodles are bad for you, but fight me if you used to be a broadcast student or you're going to be a broadcast student. I spent like €20. I don't know how much that is in freedom dollars,
Yeah.
and I got like 40 packs of noodles. And when I was at university, I think I survived off it for like a
Mm,
month and a bit, which isn't a lot. Yeah, it was like 1,100 calories, but that's a whole different story. Food that you can preserve. So I don't know, tinned tuna, for example. Tuna's got loads of protein and shit. Protein good for you, cheap. So get that. Making spaghetti's easy. Uh, don't buy the tinned. What do you call it? Don't buy the pre-made tomato sauce
yeah.
because it has a ridiculous amount of sugar for God knows what.
I know it's so
You can
weird. Yeah.
get little cartons of like it's literally just like blended tomatoes and then use that as your
Yeah.
base of your sauce. I don't know, add some spices, salt, pepper, bam, got it. Tin tomato, throw that tin tuna, throw that shit in, you got your protein. Maybe a little bit of cheese, and
Yeah.
yeah, you're done. It's cheap. You're not gonna spend a shit ton of money. It's good for you.
Defo.
Yeah. Throw in a protein shake with it and yeah, there you go. Got your protein for the day.
Bro, John is here. Or the doctor, yeah.
Hey,
What's up,
No,
bro?
yeah,
yeah.
I was just gonna just say a little bit about just the three macronutrients. Yeah, I'm losing
Yes.
my voice. Yeah, it was I don't want to talk about it. But I'm gonna hit the
Mm.
three macronutrients, and then I don't really want to go into micronutrients because that's gonna take too long. But
Mm,
honestly, I think that protein is very important. Don't get me wrong. Protein is really good when it comes to it plays a key role in like healthy development, promoting tissue repair, immune function. But when it comes to growing, carbs is what really like you got to see that carbs. Your body looks for glycogen, which is in carbs, for energy instead of breaking down muscle tissue for energy. Because if you don't eat enough carbs, your body will start turning protein into carbs anyway. Um, which I mean is not a bad thing, but like also like everyone says like is fat good? It just depends what kind of fat. There's saturated and unsaturated. So
mm,
you gotta understand which the difference is. One of them is actually gonna be good. One of them is from avocados, nuts, stuff like that. The other one is gonna be from, oils like fatty, like vegetable oils, processing, and things like that. So you have to understand that carbs are what helps you get bigger because the glycogen in carbohydrates pulls water into your muscles and gives you that that inflated that look, right? You see everyone eating rice or they're eating whatever to get big, but like all it is glycogen is pulling the water out of out of the carbs and putting it into your muscles. Um, and yeah, Swat is right. Yeah, not all protein is the same because 30 grams of protein from like lean ground turkey or like chicken breast comparing it to 30 grams of protein from like a filet mignon or some sort of steak, it's different. You know what I'm saying? You got to see that protein is there's many different types of protein because most protein, especially if it's meat, it's either going to have a high protein, low fat content or a high fat, high protein content. So you have to understand what you're ingesting because calories can add up quick when you eat meat. I mean, if you're vegan or plant-based or whatever, it's a lot harder to get in your protein, but you'll easily be able to get more calories in and you'll be able to eat more volume. So when you're talking about volume, it's, it doesn't matter. You could eat 2 pounds of broccoli, but you probably only ingested about 600 calories, right? So you gotta understand what you're eating and what the nutrients that are going into your body. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, bro, spin facts about the specific stuff. I literally forgot all about as soon as I left high school, but yeah, um,
The thing
well,
about
yeah,
protein that always gets into my head. That one video I watched, and I was just like, yeah, if you go vegan, like, yeah, you're like, oh well, these beans have protein, and I'm like, but surely it can't be the same as like the protein you get from beef and the way your body breaks it down and stuff.
mm,
So Greek protein, Greek yogurt's really fucking good. Yogurt, bruh. I didn't know how nice and satiating yogurt is.
yes, yeah,
Lots of
Oh,
hey,
I was
welcome
just
back.
gonna say real quick, when protein turns into carbohydrates, it's a process called gluconeogenesis. I don't know if you want me to go into gluconeogenesis, but that's what it's
If
called.
you
So
can
if you
write
guys,
it down,
yeah,
I'll
here I'll
Google
put it
that.
in the I'll put
yeah,
it in the chat if you guys want to look it up. So if you're eating a high protein diet and you're not eating enough carbs and fat, your body's gonna naturally turn that into the macronutrients it needs by taking out either amino acids or breaking it down into something that it can actually use. So yeah, if you guys want to look it up, gluconeogenesis, it's actually a very, very cool concept. It's a biochemical process that your body does. Um, so it turns non-carbohydrate substrates such as lactates, amino acids, um, and it creates them into things like carbohydrates and fats. So, yeah, guys, you should look it up. Biochemistry is a great class to take, even if you don't want to be a physician. It's really cool to understand how your body works. So yeah,
Yeah, before you go, is that the same as glycogenolysis? I just
glycolysis? No, that's two different things.
these two things are different, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, the difference between glycolysis and gluconeogenesis, glycolysis is what converts glucose into pyruvic acid. So it
Mm.
basically creates adenine triphosphate ATP, which is what gives you energy to your muscles and cells. Um, but yeah, so basically, and then it creates ATP and I'm pretty sure NADH. I know
Mm.
there's another med student here. She can vouch
bruh.
for me, but yeah. So glycolysis turns glucose into pyruvic acid, which is basically NADH and ATP. So
Bro, a lot of
Okay.
people. I don't even remember. I remember some of that. I
Yeah,
remember like ATP and stuff.
I've heard
But
the more
yeah,
plates, more dates talk about this, or maybe Greg can share
yeah,
when they
that's
talk
some
about ATP and stuff. So
serious
sometimes
stuff.
I get a little bored, and
it's
I'm like,
really someone
Yeah,
said, "Can you speak
biology.
human language?" Okay, let me
Um,
try to simplify it. So, glucose. So the chemical breakdown for glucose is 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen, and 6 oxygen, right?
yeah.
So it has to break it down. So glycolysis is basically the breakdown of glucose. So think about it. Glycolysis is the breakdown of glucose. That's how I always remembered it. Glycolysis is the breakdown of glucose. So it creates a thing called pyruvic acid, which don't hold me accountable. It's like CH3COCOOH. I'm pretty sure CH3COCOOH, something like that. Um, so yeah, so Core is also a med student. She said right because plant-based protein doesn't provide a complete amino acid profile in order to benefit your body, which is true. What is this lecture about again?
Bruh,
We're gonna.
spitting.
Well, I know I always sidetrack, but
Bruh.
basically the free energy that's released in glycolysis is it's high energy for like producing molecules, adenine triphosphate. You can look it up here. I'll even put it up. Adenine triphosphate. Hold on, let me type it. Adenine triphosphate. Look it up. That is literally what your body uses for energy. Like when you lift, when you run. Yes, ATP. That's what it's called. So yeah, ATP. That is the number one thing your body creates to create energy. It is an amazing thing. It's really cool how you can just watch a simple 10, 12 minute video, simple video on YouTube. Um, Ninja Nerd. Yeah, that's oh yeah, Ninja Nerd is so good. I use him, and then I also used a lot of like online med ed, which is like a medical, it's a little bit more complex on med ed. But then there's Professor Dave Explains. I'll put his actually I can't. I don't want to put his YouTube in there because then I'll get shadow banned. But uh, yeah. So basically, it reduces ATP, and then it reduces a reduced form of NADH. So NADH. Okay, I think it's like nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. That's what it's called. I know that's like, what the heck did he just say?
Bruh.
But that's what NADH is right there. I just put it NADH. That is what NADH is. So I mean, honestly, I could probably just do a lecture on biochemistry, which I feel like would be really cool. Um, it's a lot to take in. I understand, guys. It's a lot to take in. But remember, this is years and years of studying this stuff. It's not just, I just woke up one day and was like, yeah, let's do it. Should you go into medical? I can do a lecture on going into the medical field. It's not made for everybody, but if you really want to do it, you can do it. Harris, I love you. Get some good sleep. Think about me. Dream of me. Um, but yeah, is there anything else you need from me? I can just do it. I don't want to keep taking up your lecture.
Bro, man, I literally covered everything, dude. Like, there's not much, especially if you don't have like crazy equipment and stuff. Like, legit, you just do bare bone stuff like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and then like home workouts, and then that's it. That's it. That's how I got like ripped and jacked and bone. Like
Yeah, wait, I lost.
yeah,
I just want to
yeah,
chip in. The way that I lost like 20, 25 kilos in a year is okay, other than fixing my diet, because
yeah.
my mom used to feed me food that wasn't very healthy, and she used to give me like stupid amount of portions. Because looking back, now I, most of the time, and I look back to my childhood, I'm like, cool, my mom used to give me like 500, 700 grams of like a massive portion, like a mountain of spaghetti. And then that would have been like 3 meals or something that I would have now. So focus on what you put into your body, food wise, and I did a lot of dancing and cycling and stuff. And when I say dancing, people are like, oh, dancing, but like I would dance for like 8 hours straight, and then it would end
Oh
up
my
being
god.
like 25 kilometers on my like little app. It's like 40K steps and stuff. So yeah, that trained my core like a motherfucker. So yeah.
No, yeah, but someone said thoughts on eating during workouts and fasted or lifting cardio. I don't eat during my workouts personally. I mean, everyone's different, right? Someone could literally eat like an entire bowl of spaghetti before they go on a run or before they lift, and it won't affect them. If I eat any time between 45 minutes or less between a workout, I will puke. That's just me.
Hmm.
Um, I don't recommend
Oh.
it just because I would give your body at least an hour or two to synthesize what you just ate to use it as energy. Because if it's sitting in your stomach, it's not doing anything for you, right? It's
Mm.
not broken down. It's not your body hasn't broken it down, hasn't gone through glycolysis yet. We'll talk about that next lecture. But
Hmm.
um,
Mhm.
yeah, so your body hasn't really broken anything down. Fasted, lifted, or fasted cardio. I
Oh,
don't
I wanna. He
talk
said
about that.
fasted
I don't.
cardio.
I know a little bit, but you go ahead.
Oh my God, fasted cardio. 10
Fast. That's
kilom
all I know.
10 kilometer run in the morning, like you're starved. It's been 12 hours since you've ate something. It's literally a battle of life and death, man. I remember I just used to do it for fun. But I'll talk about the other aspect first. Like, what would you eat like before going for a run? Let's say you just had like a meal and then you go for a run. Like, if you've eaten a lot, like it's actually hell. Like you're midway through your run, it's 40 minutes in, you're like 8 kilometers out, and you need to go, and that's when you need to go during the run. It's the worst feeling in the. It's like it's pain. It's agony. You never want to. I guess eat before, like immediately before a run. Like give it like a 5 to 6 hour window, maybe eight. I guess have it all like digested down, broken down. Boom. Going back to the fasted running, it is literally you're gonna see crazy like gains from it as well. I remember like I used to just try it just because I had like a lot of like forgot what they're called, but like the fat at the side of your like your belly or something. I forgot what it's called, but like it was fat was accumulating there, and then I was like, okay, I need to like up the cardio a bit. I need to like try some intermittent fasting, and then I was doing like 10 kilometers, no food for like last 12 hours, and like your form's gonna suffer because of it. Like you want to be I forgot the fucking word, but you want to have like you have want to like be in relation to nutrition, right? You want to have like eat like food. You want to be like you don't want to be starved if you're going for like good form and you're trying to like break a personal best or something like that. You want to be hydrated as well, but like first thing in the morning, you're fasted. The results they're gonna be like amplified, yes, but I'd say your form like kind of suffers as a detriment, but or in detriment or as like a effect, but that's the best way I can go about describing it. It's something that you shouldn't do all that often, but it's definitely like an accelerated um you get accelerated results from doing so. Sorry for the wording, man. I'm just like, all over the place describing it, but yeah. Oh, intermittent fasting. I don't even. Who did anyone?
Yeah.
I've said this before. Yeah,
I
yeah. Go
I,
ahead.
I
Yeah,
do it right now. That's what I
yeah.
do. I give myself like a. It used to be an 8-hour window. Then I cut it down to 6. Then I cut it down to 4. And now I do 2 hours.
Mm,
It's really hard.
Jesus.
I know it's dude. When I tell you it's the hardest thing, um, I think for myself, uh, I think for a lot of people don't understand that ghrelin is the hunger hormone. So your body releases ghrelin just when you normally eat. So like let's say you eat 3 meals a day, one at 8 a.m., one at noon, one at 4 p.m. And let's say you want to do intermittent fasting and you don't want to start eating until noon. Your body's going to release ghrelin around 7:45, 8 a.m. Tell your body, hey, I'm hungry because that's when you usually eat, right? Over time, your body's going to start getting used to not eating, so your body's not going to release ghrelin anymore, right? So it's basically known as the hunger hormone. Again, you'll learn it if you take like biochemistry. I mean, I could do a lecture on basic biochemical principles, but I don't
Yes,
want to like
please.
have I don't want to have people basically tell me like please speak English because I am. It's just it makes sense to me.
Mm.
But yeah, so basically, yeah, ghrelin basically. So like let's say, so like for me is like I used to fast. Because right now it's Lent, so I usually don't eat until like 4 or 5 p.m. anyway. Um, so what I do is basically like I don't eat. I'll drink coffee, black coffee, just by itself. Which even some people like those hardcore intermittent fasters will be like that doesn't count. It's only water. But if I don't drink coffee, I'm gonna fall asleep or I'm gonna crash. So for myself, it's like I drink coffee and water all the way until, and then I make sure my meal is at least 15 to 1800 calories at least because I always burn anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 calories a day. So it's crazy that like you would think that like okay, there's a thing called basal metabolic rate. So that's how much your body burns every day, even if you don't work out. You could literally sit on your couch all day and your body's still gonna burn calories. So what I usually do is take your weight. I mean, for me, it's pounds, because again, metric. But if it was not metric, take your kilograms. I don't know. So how many kilograms are you, Victory?
like 85 around there. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
85 kgs to like pounds. That's around I think like I want to say like
Equal to
188, 185, something like that. So take 185 pounds, multiply that by 10. So your basal metabolic rate, your body, if you eat 1,850 calories, you will not gain weight or lose weight. That is your metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is the calories in which you can eat, and oh, so it was 187.3. So 1,873 calories. If you eat that much, you will not gain weight or lose weight. If you eat less than that, you will lose weight. If you eat more than that, you will gain weight. But if you work out, I mean, you're going to be walking around, you're going to go to class, right? So metabolic rate again. So Jingle, listen to me. This is based on just a basic chart, right? Just like a BMI chart, right? This is a basic chart. Usually you take your weight, you multiply it by 10 in pounds. That's how it is in the US. I'll find out how to do it in the metric system. But it's like the BMI chart. So it's complete bullcrap because, I mean, if you're 6'10" and you weigh 300 pounds, you're going to need more than 3,000 calories because you probably have a very high metabolism, right? You have a very high metabolism. You have longer limbs in which your body's going to burn more calories when you do workouts or when you run or whatever. So you got to just understand that this is just the base, right? Of course, like I said, it takes trial and error to do anything in life. So for me to find out my basal metabolic rate, I can eat around 2,400 calories and I won't gain any weight. If I eat, and of course it'll get better because when your metabolism starts getting higher, you eat more weight just to stay the same weight. Like right now, like I'm in great shape. Like if you go to Progress Pics, there's like a thing. One of my pictures, the most recent one was me like sitting, and like I'm in a green shirt. Like I'm around like 231 right now, and I went all the way down to like 211, and I've just been trying to build more size. You know what I'm saying? I'm building more size, and I've been building the last 3 months because I've been cutting. I was cutting the last 7 months. So basically, like you got to understand that this is just a general broad spectrum, right? You have to figure it out yourself. Like I use MyFitnessPal every day. I use the Strong app to track my workouts every day. I have an Apple Watch that tracks on average how many calories I burn in a lifting session or a HIIT session or a run or whatever, right? So you have to understand is like a good way to do it. So here, Insomniac Eclipse, right? He's 13, he weighs 153 pounds, and he's 5'9". So based on the chart I gave him, he should be eating 1,530 calories to maintain. He should be eating 1,800 calories to be in a caloric surplus and 1,200 calories to be in a deficit, right? So the thing is, he's still at an age where his hormones are probably just kicking in and he's going crazy. He's probably going through puberty right now. So you got to understand, if he's going through puberty, his hormones are all over the place. So he's probably, his metabolism is probably even faster than ever. So for him, I would recommend 2,000 good whole calories. I'm not saying go to, a milkshake place and get a milkshake that's like 600 calories. That's not good for you, right? It's all sugar and fat, right? Barely any protein. I'm saying eat 2,000 whole calories and see how, like, track your progress over a few weeks. See how much weight you gain, because it's not all going to be muscle.